Test, test, test. Testing.
Okay.
Testing. Okay. Right. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Seoul. Welcome to We Ride Morning e-bike tour. So today we're going to be starting here in Pyeongchang-dong, which is like the Beverly Hills of Seoul, and we'll be riding into the heart of Jongno. We'll be seeing the palace gates. We'll be seeing the Korean Hanok village, and we'll be checking out Seoul in the morning. What's going on today? Today is Friday, the 17th of September, and we're just starting the Chuseok holiday. So I'll let you know a little bit more about what Chuseok is here in Korea. It's a public holiday, and I'll tell you a bit more about it on the ride. But it should be a little different today. Everyone's getting ready for this big occasion. So let's go check it out. Try. So although this tour is called the Morning e-bike tour, Today I'm riding a Brompton, and it's not an e-Brompton. So I'm just hitching a ride here up this hill with Kevin. Kevin's our rider today. You'll recognize Kevin from the other videos. Myself, I'm Vincent, and our cameraman, this is Taeyong. And it's a nice fresh day. It's about 19 degrees centigrade. Nice and cool. There you can see just ahead of us here. We're going up the side road, but if we were to go straight on, we'd end up in that tunnel, the Jarman tunnel, and that goes all the way through to the West Village, Sochon. We're going to come up the side here and head into a neighborhood called Guamdong. Just nestled here between Bugak Mountain and Inwang Mountain, the two mountains the city wall goes over. But before, just here at the entrance of Guamdong, we'll stop to check out another interesting spot. Come on over. So the reason we've stopped here is because I wanted to show you these steps heading down into the Jahamun Tunnel. You might recognize them from the very, very famous Korean movie, internationally renowned, with many accolades, Parasite. Parasite from 2019, I believe, is a film by Bong Joon-ho, and it grossed $259 million on the box office. Produced for a rather small budget, I believe, of $15.5 million to produce. Now, this part of the movie where they're coming down these steps is probably one of the most famous scenes, in that it really it represents the low points of the characters in the movie, and it also demonstrates well how the director used physical height and physical location to indicate the status and condition of the characters. So as they were physically going down into this tunnel in the rain, they were also their condition as characters was also going down to their lowest point. Very famous. And if you want to see if you're curious as to where they filmed the actors going down these steps, you just have to look across to that building, across the street. It was filmed from the rooftop over there. Okay, let's go on and check out the rest of Guangdong. Wow, look at the mountains over there. That's the Bukhan mountain range. Let's cross over. Looking rather dramatic this morning. Hey, off we go. So this neighborhood, Guangdong, it's nestled here in the mountains, which gives it a rather interesting geography, somewhat unique for Korean neighborhoods in Seoul, I guess. And as a result, it's often chosen as a location for filming, usually dramas, small productions. It's also very quiet. As you saw earlier, most cars would bypass this hill and go through the tunnel, leaving this neighborhood to be quite quiet. If we were to continue down this road straight, we'd end up at the Blue House estate, where the Blue House is where the president lives, currently Moon Jae-in, until at least next year. I think it's springtime, there'll be another election. But we're not going to continue straight just yet. We're going to make a left turn at this point to check out a historical site, a gate in the city wall called Changyi-moon. Whew. Okay. Speaking of Moon Jae-in, this is a coffee shop to my right-hand side, which is famous amongst cyclists who ride up this way, going up the mountain here, Bugak Skyway. But it's also famous for being a place that the president would visit before he was president. President Moon Jae-in would visit there, and they have a coffee in there called the Moon Blend. And he's on. Changyi-moon is one of the smaller gates through the city wall. Here, north, one of the northern gates of the city. It's not the north gate. I think we're at the north east here. Would that be right? Let's have a look at this map. Sorry, northwest. We're over here at the northwest gate. The main northern gate would be this one, the larger one, which we, because of its proximity to the Blue House, I don't think it's very easily accessible. But you can walk along the city wall here, all the way around, roughly 18.5 kilometers, and do a full circuit of the city. Majority of this wall is still as it was, in place, I should say. There are parts of it, especially down here near Dongdaemun. Where's Dongdaemun? Eastgate. These parts here have been dismantled to make way for the city and roads. But there's normally a marker on the street where the wall would have been, and in certain parts it's been excavated. So going back to our gate, built in 1395, that's the beginning of the Chosun dynasty, but it was destroyed in the Japanese invasion in 1592, and then rebuilt again in 1741. And I'm talking mainly about the wooden structure at the top. So, but since 1741, it's been pretty much intact, which makes it the oldest original structure of all the gates here in Seoul. As you saw on the map, there's quite a few, but this one dates all the way back to 1751, which is pretty awesome. Sorry, 1741. Pretty awesome. Okay, let's go back. I mentioned earlier that people will stop here for coffee at the coffee shop when they're riding their bikes, but also they'll stop in this neighborhood for Korean fried chicken. And maybe coincidentally, you'll notice the characters on the roof here. These are two chickens, and they're there to capture any bugs that may come through this gate, centipedes that may try to pass. That is obviously symbolic of stopping nasty people from coming into the city. So Kevin, how are you feeling? Do you think you could tow me up to Mumude? Or should we head down into the city?
Head down to the sea.
Yeah? All right, let's go check it out. Look at the sky over there, it's beautiful.
You have a point. If you want to compromise the view, right after the downhill, turn right,
Uh-huh.
and then this is going uphill. Stop over there and see the view.
Oh, just here? Okay, yeah, let's go there.
Yeah.
We'll walk up. It's not just a short walk, isn't it? Okay, yeah, let's go check out the view. That looks like a really nice sky view. We'll get to a higher point, see what we can see. Follow me. Just in, right? Straight?
Turn right over there.
Okay. Yeah, I think the sun rising. Yeah.
Not a big deal. Only one short.
Okay. Are there steps that way?
Oh, just keep going. Wow. Oh.
Give you a little hand. Wow, look, you can see the Lotte World Tower really well. Oh well, what we're looking at now is Bugak Mountain. It's the mountain behind the Blue House. Heavily militarized. You might spot some soldiers running around in there. But we're heading away from that up this road into Inwang Mountain, which is to the west of the main palace and the main center of the historic city of Hanyang. Seoul used to be called Hanyang originally. And if you look up into the mountain up at the top, you can see the city wall just past this tree. There it is on the city wall up there. That skirts the mountain. So I wanted to see the view at the other side, but that's okay. Let's just go down into the city this way. It's going to be really, really steep in a minute. Have you been down here before? It's going to be really steep. So take it really slow. Yeah, let's check out this view. This looks like a nice view as well. It is, yeah. So what can we see? Well, we're looking at the city we're just about to go into. This is Jongdo and Junggu, so you can probably just make out the tower over there. Yep, there you go. The Seoul Tower, Namsan Tower. That is to the southern extent of the city, the original city of Hanyang, and we are at the moment at the kind of northwesterly extent of the city. So we're standing. The city wall is behind us, and it will extend all the way around the city, as you saw on the map earlier, over that southern mountain there, and it goes right past the Seoul Tower, which is a very famous landmark here in the city. And although it was, as I said, it's the southern point of the traditional city, in modern day Seoul, it's almost central to the whole of the city. If you go south of there, you'll meet the Han River, and then you'll cross over the Han River into a place called Gangnam, which you might have heard of, Gangnam Style. I think if we take a few steps this way, you should be able to see the Lotte World Tower. Maybe. Oh, Kevin says you can see it over there. Let's go over this way. It's just blocked by these trees in front of us. Ah, there it is. How did we miss it? If we zoom in.
You have to be compared the Dusan Tower and Lotte World Tower.
Right.
Lotte World Tower looks taller. No, it's not the good expression. So it's closer one is look bigger one.
Well, yeah, the Dusan Tower. Even though the Lotte Dusan Tower is Let's move the camera over just a little bit. There you go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Even though the Dusan Tower, there it is. The Dusan Tower is in the foreground, that white building with the flashing light on top. That building, even though it's in the foreground, looks smaller than the Lotte World Tower.
That's the point.
But it should look bigger because it's in the foreground, and it doesn't because the Lotte World Tower is so big. The Lotte World Tower is 555 meters tall with 123 stories. And if you don't know which one it is in this picture, you're not looking close enough. It's the really pointy one in the far background, and it also has flashing lights all the way up. It's become like the center point, center focus of the New Year's celebrations. New Year's celebrations always used to focus here on a traditional building in Jongno, but last year they were the fireworks and the display at the Lotte World Tower trumped everything, and also because of Corona we couldn't gather, so it was a big TV event. It was pretty cool. So that's where it is. That's the Lotte World Tower, the 5th tallest building in the world and the tallest building here in Korea. We won't be going there today. It's farther away than you think. It's all the way south of the river, a place called Jamsil, which is just next to Gangnam. Okay. It's a cool spot. Well done.
Should we go back, or do you want to go forward?
I'm a little bit scared of this hill. Do you think you can ride the pedicab down there?
I tried it before, but the safest one will be going back.
I think so, yeah.
It won't be difficult.
Also, it takes us out onto the different roads.
Yeah, different road.
Okay. Well, in that case, we won't risk our lives going down this this hill. It's like that, literally. We're going to go back the way we came, and it's kind of cool because there's a cool statue up there, which I'll tell you about when we get up there. Let's go and have a look. Okay.
Weather is really cool.
It's awesome, right? So earlier on in the summer, it would start around about this temperature, but it would very quickly get very hot, and it was much more humid. But right now it's nice and fresh, and the temperature is remaining quite low. I'd estimate it's around about 19, 20 degrees.
그 애니메이션 그거 같다. 지브리 스튜디오. No?
No?
미야자키 하야오. 그 애니메이션 like 뭐지 토토로?
Totoro, yeah, I know Totoro.
This I think this way looking is like the Totoro way.
Yeah, it is like we stepped into Totoro's world. Okay, here we go. I can handle this part. Nice. So here's a statue, big golden statue of a gentleman called Choi Gyu-shik. Choi Gyu-shik. Choi Gyu-shik is a police officer, and he is a hero because during near the end of Park Chung-hee's rule here in Korea, Park Chung-hee was the third president of South Korea. Is that right? I think he was. Yeah, he was the third president of South Korea, and he was a dictator. In North Korea, of course, there's a conflict with North Korea, an ongoing conflict, and North Korea sent 30 assassins that walked across from North Korea, across those mountains that we saw in the distance behind us, the Bukhan mountain range, and they came down this path through the gates that we spoke of earlier, Changimyeon, and down this road that we're riding on right now. And they were dressed in South Korean military uniform, disguised as soldiers. And Choi Gyu-shik, the police officer, overheard them speaking and recognized that they had North Korean accents. And so he spoke to them, he questioned them, and discovered that they were North Korean assassins coming to assassinate the president, and they shot him as a result, which of course raised the alarm. Which of course raised the alarm for the security forces to attack and attack the assassins, defend the Blue House, which is just to my left at the moment. As a result, the assassination was thwarted, and he is a hero.
These are who working for presidential health, security, public assistance.
Well, we're not actually, we can't film in this location because we're so close to the presidential palace. But as Kevin was describing, what we're seeing around us is people going to work at the presidential palace. We've just left a crosswalk where we're seeing security and office workers entering the palace estate, presidential palace estate. And now we're riding up a road that takes us around the back of the Gyeongbokgung Royal Palace, a road between the Royal Palace and the Blue House. The Blue House is on our left, and the palace is on our right. And we're just taking this shortcut through to the east side of the palace, where we'll find the Bukchon Hanek village. Right here at the north gate of the palace is the gate to the presidential palace. And it's quite cool that here at the right in front of the seat of power in Korea, is a bicycle lane. I think that's a great symbol for the world and for Korea. Although sometimes you get a police bus parked in the bike lane. Wow. So we got the traditional Gyeongbokgung Palace, the royal palace here on my right hand side. We whiz down towards the city. We're going to make a U-turn here to head into this neighborhood, which is known as the neighborhood on my right hand side now, known as Samcheongdong. Samcheong literally means three blues.
삼성동은 빠지게요.
아, 이거 빠지는 거예요? 네. 안쪽으로 갈 때 촬영하시면 안 되거든요. 네.
And there's our security, our friendly local security guys telling us we can't film the Blue House, but we let them know we're just taking this shortcut into Samcheongdong, which, as I said, refers to three blues. Neighborhood of three blues, I guess, is the translation. I won't bore you with the details, but one of the blues is water, and it represents the water that runs below the street that we're just crossing right now. So later on in the tour, we'll visit a place called Cheonggyecheon, which is a river that used to be covered up and has been uncovered and restored. Beautiful spot and very famous. The water that flows beneath the road that we're on, that we just crossed earlier, would join that river, Cheonggyecheon. Yeah, we're going to make a left turn here. And you can see already the traditional homes coming into view. Actually, that one that you're looking at just there was a coffee shop, but as we go up the street, we're heading into a residential neighborhood that will have the same style building, only there'll be homes for people. So we should keep our voices down in there. Don't disturb them so early in the morning. You'll notice the tiled roof and wooden structure, which people associate with the Hanok style of architecture. But actually Hanoks came in a number of shapes and sizes, and the rooftops were not always tiled. The tiling is more the wealthier people. Poorer people would have a thatched roof or a slate roof, or possibly even a wooden slate roof, depending on their location in the country and the resources around them. This neighborhood, however, would be where the ruling class lived, and still is today. The mayor of Seoul lives here today, and the Prime Minister's house is here today as well. And as you know, the president...
Chairman of the Constitutional Court.
Oh, there it is, there it is. Look at that. What a fantastic view. So we're looking over through the telephone wires at Inhuang Mountain, which is where the mountain we were riding on earlier, actually. That's where Buamdong is. And if we were to look over that mountain, we'd see the Bukhan mountain range, which is what we saw very early on the tour, where Pyeongchangdong was. Is basically the foothills of the Bukhan mountain range. So we've come from that direction there, and what we couldn't see behind us was this beautiful sky. And behind, oh yeah, and the view to the rear, looking back into Zhonglo, the city center. You can see the main buildings of the palace there as well, inside the palace, all the way to the main gates, which we'll go to later on in the tour. You can see the Sejong Art Center, which is quite not a very pretty building. It looks quite authoritarian, doesn't it? But it's a theatre for arts, and then the mass of the modern buildings in the surrounding it is an area called Zhonglo. Look at that, that's beautiful. Okay, well, follow me up. Now, I would be surprised if I came up here one day and there was no construction, because Hanok houses take a lot of upkeep. They require a lot of maintenance. There's always some kind of construction going on, some kind of maintenance work on these homes. And as you can see, the houses are one floor, one story. So here in Korea, which is 70% mountains, it may be not the most efficient way to house people. And because of the high maintenance costs and the old-fashioned nature of the buildings, although they are beloved and traditional, they're not really the kind of houses that young Koreans strive to live in. Most Koreans want to live in an apartment. However, I think they're bloody awesome. Excuse my language, I think they're awesome. You can see here, we have deliveries from, that one's from Market Curly. And over there we've got Kupang. These are residential homes. This isn't a museum, which is why I've lowered my voice. And ordinarily, even at this time, we'd have masses of tourists here, taking pictures, selfies outside the doors. But of course, because of Corona, we have the place to ourselves at this time. 안녕하세요. Coming around this corner, you'll see again the white building in the foreground. That's Dongdaemun Market, a 24-hour clothing market, basically where K-pop gets dressed, Korean fashion. And then in the distance, you can also see the Lotte World Tower. If you recall, the fifth tallest building in the world and the first tallest in Korea. So parking in this neighborhood is a bit of a pain as well. This is a persimmon tree. And these are persimmons. This is the kind of persimmon that you have to leave until it gets ripe, like that one. When it's ripe, it will be this color. And you eat it with a spoon, it's so soft. It tastes like honey. If you take a quick glance down to the right, you can see the Hanok street and the city in the distance. Wonderful contrast of old and new. Such a peaceful morning, just the birds chirping and click of my Brompton cassette. At this point, you really do get a better vantage point over the city. And in the foreground, when we get to the top, if we walk backwards from this point, you'll be able to see in the foreground the Constitutional Court, which is just down there with the gardens and the trees.
Yeah.
That's the one there, the building with. Let's walk backwards and you'll see it.
Yeah.
That's right, just there. And that is the location where the Constitutional Court, the 9 judges sit, and where the previous president, Park Geun-hye, was impeached. All right. I think we followed the rules. The 9 rules.
I think due to the typhoon effect, the skylines is very colorful than usual.
Yeah, we're expecting a typhoon this weekend. Hopefully it won't.
No. Yesterday, today.
Oh, is it today, the typhoon?
Yes,
Oh.
I heard that the typhoon just passed to Jeju Island.
Oh, fantastic. So it's not going to hit us this weekend?
Yes.
That's great news. And normally they don't affect Seoul too heavily. It mainly affects the southern part of the peninsula, Busan or Jeju Island. Is that what kind of dog is that? Is that a Jindo?
Jindo. Jindo?
No, it doesn't.
So mix it. Jindo mix.
Maybe a mix. Yeah. Jindos are the Korean traditional dog.
Hey guys, just stand
Korean
over
breed.
there.
Oh,
I'll take some photo for you guys.
awesome.
Thank you, Kevin.
하나, 둘, 셋. 하나, 둘, 셋. One more. 하나, 둘, 셋. 하나, 둘, 셋. When is the time to charge the battery?
On the GoPro?
Yeah.
I don't know. How's my battery doing up there?
Right now?
Is it
How many?
괜찮은 것
43.
43. Oh, we're good. Hey guys. Well, we're going to head down into that city that we saw just down the way. Should we ride up this way?
Yep.
Okay. Let's hit the road. So back in the day, this neighborhood would have been one where, as I said, leaders of the country, the royal family would have resided. Sorry, what? Dechu, it's a date.
Date. They just what do you call it?
Picking?
Picking.
Oh, it's time to pick the dates.
Next week is Chuseok.
Right, yes.
Oh,
I promised to tell you guys about Chuseok. So Kevin just noticed earlier that they were picking dates from a date tree, a Korean date tree just around the corner. I must have missed that. But it's related to the Chuseok festival in that Chuseok is the Korean Thanksgiving festival. It's on the 21st of September this year.
23.
Until the 23rd, and it changes every year, the dates, because it runs by the lunar calendar. At Chuseok time, honestly, like for me in the West, in England, I would say Christmas is the biggest holiday and family gathering in the year, Christmas and New Year, whereas in Korea, it's Chuseok and New Year. So Chuseok is a really big day where families get together, or a period where families get together and share food and well, I mean, it's an important family time, but the idea is to give thanks for the harvest and a time when food is plentiful.
And also the Teta.
Ah, yes. There's also a respect ceremony for the ancestors, the people who have passed away in the family, people who've come before us. So during Chuseok, you show your respects to them. This is called chesa, where food would be prepared for the deceased, set on a table, and honestly, you'll have to ask Kevin a little bit more about the proceedings. But it's basically there's a lot of bowing and showing respect and prayers for the ancestors. So does every family do chesa at Chuseok?
Nation, religion, family character, personal reason.
It's a Buddhist ceremony, is it?
Always Confucianism.
Oh, it's Confucianism. Okay, so it's linked to Confucianism, and so Korea's, although it's a very traditional society, there are a mix of religions here, and so not every family would do that, but traditionally, chesa is the done thing.
So Christians don't do it. Catholic do a mass.
I see. So Catholic, if you're Catholic, you have a mass. Christians generally don't do the chesa, whereas Buddhists would do it in a Buddhist fashion. Okay.
But mostly they follow by Confucianism style.
Do you get money at Chuseok from the children? Get money from their older relatives?
The family character.
Yeah. Is that more of a New Year thing? The
New Year
sebedo?
is like a symbolic and traditional.
Okay.
More cultural. Chuseok, I don't know.
Not so much.
Wow, they recently did Goodmorning.
Oh yeah. That was quick. I don't think that was here last time. So always impressed how quickly Korea can construct a building. They just seem to pop up overnight. So we're heading. Sorry.
유교. How to say in English 유교?
Yugyo. I don't know that. Like
You know that 유교?
Yugyo. It's not. No, sorry guys. You've stretched me.
내가 알기로는 쿵푸시즘이거든.
조금 어려운 말이긴 하다는데.
Well, what's Confucianism in Korean?
유교.
Yugyo. Oh, well, there you go. Confucianism.
No, not confusion.
I feel like
I think we have to do it.
Yeah, I think.
confusing. like
Google, we're in Korea, we should use Naver.
Yeah, neighbor. Kakao.
Kakao it, and then we'll Google it.
Kids are attending school.
Yeah. 지나가겠습니다. What time is it now? It's 7:30. So there's a girls' school just down here, and these are the students going to school in the morning. Good morning. 잠시만요. 감사합니다. Which school are these guys going to?
덕성여중여고.
Dokseongyo Jung.
Middle school.
So it's a middle school.
Women middle school, women high school. And
Dokso is the name of the school.
women
Yo means women's, and Jung is middle school. So Dokseongyo Jung, Dokso Women's Middle School. Should we go through? Boom. This is another building. Didn't pop up overnight. They took their time building this one. But it's the Seoul Museum of Art, of Craft Art, and it's just opened maybe a few months ago. Beautiful building. I haven't been inside yet, but they've made this wonderful open area here, which honestly in Korea it's hard to find a big open space. So recently a lot of newer public spaces have incorporated this openness to them, which I think is a really nice feature. More students and a few office workers, mainly students here, going to school. Let's get this light. So we're crossing over the road here. 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. Seeing the morning commuters waiting for the bus. And we're entering a neighborhood called called Insadong. Insadong is this street really is the most famous street in Insadong, Insadong-ro. And normally this would be crowded with tourists all buying a little piece of Korea to take back a souvenir. It's also a famous antiques market. But as you can see, today it's very quiet. I mean, it's still quite early in the morning. Later on in the day, you'll get people walking and sampling street food down here. but nowhere near as crowded as it used to be before Corona. We're going to make a right turn here. And this is taking us to the temple, the Buddhist temple of Jogesa. Jogesa is a very important temple here in Korea. If you were to turn on the television, you might see on the Buddhist channel images from this temple being broadcasted, ceremonies from the temple. It's the center of Joge Buddhism here in Korea. It's what, sorry?
The festival is over. Now is the what is behind English?
Gukwa national flower?
No, not that. Korean national flower is Gukwa.
Gukwa.
Gukwa is like has a diverse color, like yellow or white. Or
Oh, is it the chrysanthemum? Maybe.
Cacao. 색깔마다 또 뜻이 있나요? Gukwa, yes, that one.
Okay,
Nice shot.
chrysanthemum, that's the
Yeah.
one. Yes, so it's the chrysanthemum, starts at the chrysanthemum festival here. And if I'm correct in saying, oh, they're just setting it up, so it's going to become a lot more decorative. But if I'm correct in saying the reason the chrysanthemum is chosen, or the symbolism of the chrysanthemum in Buddhism, is the spread. Because chrysanthemums normally, there's not just one flower on every plant, there's many. So the hope is that Buddhism blooms or spreads in the world as the chrysanthemum does. As I said earlier, they've just removed the lotus flowers from the temple, and they're going to be setting up the chrysanthemums. So it's in a period of transition. It's lovely when it's like this though, because again, if you joined us for the last tour, you'll know that this was full of pots containing lotus, and now it's all cleared out to this wonderful open space, really framing you get a real clear picture of the main body of the temple here. The beautiful white lacebark pine tree in the foreground, which is over 500 years old. We've got the old organism, the old building, and then the new contrast to the new buildings in the background and the new organism in the foreground. That's Kevin. It's beautiful, the contrast and the fact it all works together.
Where is gone all the lotus?
Yeah, just saying, it feels like a different place when
Yes.
it's all cleared out, but it really brings focus on the building.
So a couple of weeks later, maybe after Chuseok, the
Chrysanthemum.
Chrysanthemum Festival will be hold it here, so it will be fully covered by all the chrysanthemum. And that means winter is coming.
Right. Right. Yeah, they normally have really fancy displays here in this courtyard, which, as Kevin said, they'll be setting up in the next couple of weeks, I imagine. Dinosaurs and characters all made out of the chrysanthemum flower. It's kind of cool. If we head back this towards the pagoda, uh, just from around about here, you get a really good view into the temple there, under the tree. You can see there's three large gold statues inside, effigies of Buddha.
Do you know when is the temple is opened in the morning?
Does it close? I thought it
Yeah,
stayed.
it's closed.
It does close. Okay. What time?
It's open at 3:30 a.m.
A.m. so it
People-
doesn't really close because it's open at 11 o'clock at night, isn't it? As well. So maybe they close for like 4 hours.
Maybe approximately
Yeah.
4 hours. Yeah.
Amazing.
So if you, I was, we had an office just over there, as we work, and when I overwork and try to get some refresh, I take a walk at the, it was 2017, 18 August. So having taking a walk around here, and acknowledge that the temple was open at 3:30, around 4. When I visit there, it's full of people that are trying to pray something.
At 3 in
And
the morning. Wow.
I feel like that, if you want to achieve something, you need to try all your best to want to reach that goal. I don't know the people who are what they willing, what they hope, what they having some forgiveness or perfections, dreams. But each of the people, each of the prayer has a purpose to come here and try all their best to pray more than 30 minutes, 1 hour, in the 3 a.m. morning, and then go home or go to work. And it was very inspiring.
Yeah, that is very diligent. You heard it here. Wake up. Around here, of course, there's the children's play area. And there's also this area here, which is a very important place where you can offer your prayers and thanks or wishes by lighting incense, facing the temple, saying your prayers, bowing 3 times, and then putting the incense into the sand. There's a beautiful aroma right now of incense burning. And you can just help yourself to incense up here and then light it on the candles to the rear. It goes in the sand.
다음 주 추석이라서 드시라고.
아유, 고맙습니다.
네, 수고하세요.
예, 건강하시고.
네, 수고하세요.
Okay.
We spot the moment that lady giving a Chuseok present for the gentleman.
Right. He must think he just works in the maintenance of the
Yeah.
temple. She must be. Here in attendance, and that was a Chuseok present,
Yes.
I believe. What kind of things do you give people at Chuseok?
Very variety fruit, present pack, or ginseng, or even small of. In Chinese word is hongbao, like a red
Envelope?
envelopes, put in some cash for their parents, but we don't call it hongbao in Korea. We call it like a yongdon.
Yongdon?
Yeah, yongdon. It's like
What about spam? I've seen a lot of spam for sale.
yes, spam. Spam is like I guess it's started from the Korean war culture. So spam was import or very popular during the Korean War.
Right.
So after that is U.S. made in U.S. stuff. It's symbol of the wealth, and we're kind of taking wealth.
Like American and
The
luxury.
easiest way is the U.S. Military food materials, and it was one of the stuff is chocolate and Spanish. And of course the corn, but corn is so popular for
So we'll see shortly. Well, maybe we'll see. But we'll be passing a store in a minute, and you can buy Chuseok presents
Yes,
or
yes.
gift sets outside of the. And I bet you we'll see a box of Spam amongst all these really awesome luxury items. There's a box of Spam, which looks completely out of place for me. But here, as Kevin explained, it's a luxury. It's dating back to a time where there was a large military presence here in Korea. Still is today, but luxury items would come off the base, like Spam and chocolate and corn. So it's still a symbol of luxury. I was actually hoping to see some outside that convenience store there, but it may be a little late for Chuseok Spam. Maybe everyone's already bought their gifts at this point, or to be honest, it's not really something that you would buy at a convenience store. It's more like a market or a mart, supermarket. In any case, take my word for it. There's a lot of Spam going around. Yeah, got all the office workers out.
Right now it's 6:30, 8 around.
No. It's
Sorry,
it's seven. It must be
7:30,
7:40, something like that. 7:40. We're in the heart of Jongdo right now, surrounded by office buildings. I believe large black one over here is the SK telecommunications company. And we've got WeWork over on the other side. At the top of the Jongdo Tower up there, see it poking through. And everyone in the streets here, it's going to get busier and busier. Most people start at 9 o'clock, 8:30?
Official working hours start 9 to 6.
9 to 6.
But mostly they come a little bit earlier, like 30 minutes earlier. Or people working in the finance have to be come still way more earlier, like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. due to the stuff time gap, time sheet,
Time difference,
time
yeah.
difference. Due to the whole time difference, like US or Europe or what else? America and European time difference. Regions, you have to come a little bit earlier to catch up all the information. Right?
Oh, as I mentioned earlier in the tour, we would be meeting a river called Cheonggyecheon, a river that was once covered up in the name of development and progress, and in 2005 was uncovered again and restored. So if you were to look over and down to my left here, you'd see the Cheonggyecheon River. We'll take a close look when we get to the bridge over here. Ahead of us on this bicycle road, probably one of the only ones on the left in the country, is someone commuting to work on the city bike called Daringi. Daringi is a cute name, and it refers to the sound of a bike.
Where is Darani?
Up ahead.
Ah,
There you go. So if you
join the one person.
Huh?
One person. Join the one person.
who?
I don't know.
Oh,
Someone.
someone. Okay, we'll find someone. But first of all, let me show you the Cheonghacheon River. Welcome. We're right at the start. If we were to follow this, walking down, you can see there's people walking down there. We're not allowed to ride our bikes, but you can walk. And if you were to follow this path, you'd end up at the Han River. It spits out on the west side of the city, the Han River, which flows west to east. So it's like a big S shape. If you follow the Cheonghacheon River down to the Han and then the Han down to the sea, it's like one big S. It's kind of a cool yin and yang shape. Down there you'll find lots of wildlife and fish. I can see right now 2 cranes in the river. Can you see them just under the bridge? There you go. They'll be fishing. Yep, they're fishing down there. And 3 pigeons as well.
No, 4.
4 pigeons, 4 pigeons. Okay. So I guess this is where we'll leave the tour.
Yes.
Yeah?
Thank you for watching. Today is 17.
That's right. September 17th.
17. Around 8 a.m. morning. As Vincent mentioned, today is a very lovely day. Hope you watches our next video evening e-bike tour today night starting from 6:30. So keep in touch. Hope you sooner if you got vaccinated or something good news has happened. See you guys later.
Peace out, guys.